welcome back to another episode. Now, earlier today, the news broke of star wide receiver Deandre Hopkins being officially released from the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is pretty big news anytime a star stud receiver like Hopkins gets released or traded. And I know a lot of teams around the NFL are very excited about this news, but coming from an Arizona Cardinal fan, I'm not too thrilled. Now, I'm not arguing with the decision, because it was kind of necessary. I mean, and this has got nothing to do with Hopkins as a player. This is not the type of move it was. The Arizona Cardinals are a rebuilding franchise, and when you're in a rebuild, you have no room for an aging receiver with a huge contract. When you're in a rebuild, you take a bunch of young guys, develop, kind of just be a farm system, get picks out of it, and unfortunately we didn't get any picks from Hopkins. But the move for us, from our perspective, from the Cardinals' perspective, was really a salary dump. If you look at DeAndre Hopkins' contract, we gave him a big fat contract, and that's when our team was in a win now mode. And as you guys know, we are no longer in a win now mode. Our team it's a disaster. And when your team is a disaster, you can't keep guys like Hopkins. And again, let me reiterate, this is not how do you say it? Any disrespect towards Hopkins. This is, he's a veteran receiver. He knows the business. He's been around long enough. He knows this is nothing personal. It's got nothing to do with his talent or his play. Because I still think he's gonna, wherever he goes, he's gonna be a fantastic receiver still. But that's just the way it is. Our team is not ripe for a player like this anymore. This is not the type of stage we're in. If we were in a win now mode, maybe. And that's where, that's the factor that is going to come into play on where he decides to sign. Because there's a lot of teams out there who would love a receiver like Hopkins. But Hopkins really isn't, I don't think, in my opinion, he's going to go to a team that is also in a rebuild mode. He's going to go to a team that's ready to win now. And I think a good fit is Buffalo. Buffalo is a great team. Were they the number one seed last year? I think they were number one or number two. I don't think they were any lower than that. But, for the past couple of years, they've been a competitive team. Young stud quarterback in Josh Allen, Diggs. You've got a lot of talent surrounding Allen on that offense. And who better to bring in than a veteran wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins? I think he'd really pair well with Josh Allen. He's got a cannon of an arm, and I think those two would be like bread and butter. I saw a article about the New England Patriots maybe being interested, and that definitely seems like a Patriots move. I mean, every couple of years you see an old veteran receiver go to the Patriots at some point in time. I mean, you look at Antonio Brown, Randy Moss, and Bill Belichick could be the guy to revive Hopkins' career. So New England wouldn't necessarily be a bad fit. I just think even if he goes there, he's not going to win. He's not going to win anything. His best chance to win is with a team like Buffalo, or even he goes down to Kansas City. Now, that would be a scary, scary offense. Defending Super Bowl champions, Mahomes and Hopkins. I mean, Mahomes, he's got a good receiving core, young receiving core, but they're all fast, speedy guys. Hopkins would be a tremendous piece for that offense. And if he plays like the Hopkins we all know, he could. This team was going to be back to back, and they're going to be in it for next couple years. Dallas could be a team that's in a win now situation. What I want for Hopkins, especially coming from a Cardinal fan, is for him to get out of the NFC. I do not want to face him, and I really hope he doesn't go to the NFC West. I don't think there's any teams that are fit for him in the NFC West, but boy, that would suck facing him twice a year. And you know, it's nothing personal. Hopkins knows it's nothing personal. He knows it's business. He likes Arizona. He didn't want him leave. He didn't want to leave Arizona. He likes this team. He likes our franchise, but like I said before, that's just something that had to be done. And wherever he goes, there is a chance that we don't see the Deandre Hopkins we all know. We've seen this a couple of times with a lot of receivers his age, like Julio Jones, for example. Julio Jones, outstanding receiver, was an outstanding receiver. I think, in my opinion, he should be a Hall of Famer. Growing up, I loved watching him in Atlanta. You look when he was in the Super Bowl, the amazing performance he had. But he moves teams and just looks like a whole different person. A.J. Green, whole different person. And, A.J. Green ended up with the Cardinals, and man, that guy pissed me off. Boy, it was not good. His time with Arizona was not good. It was time for him to hang it up. But that could come into play, and what also could come into play, and obviously these teams are looking at it before they sign him, is his health. A guy with this many health issues at this age, at this point in his career, isn't a good look. And I don't know, it could take a while for him to find a team. My best fit would be Buffalo. I think Buffalo can afford, well, not afford money-wise, because their salary cap is pretty thin, but they can afford a high-risk, high-reward situation. Because with or without Hopkins, they're still a win-now team. And if they end up landing Hopkins and his health is inconsistent, they still have a top 5 receiver in the league in Stephon Diggs. So either way, with or without, that team's going to be a high-powered offense. But I don't know. There's a lot surrounding Hopkins. It's not as simple as people think. And we're going to find out where he ends up probably I don't know if it's the next couple of days. I think it might take a couple weeks, in my opinion. I don't know how. I think there's some sort of deadline coming up that gives him guaranteed money, but I don't know if that all changes with him being released. So, I don't know. We'll see. But that's all I have to say. So, thank you, and have a good rest of your day.